Good evening. 2 fishermen have died and another is still missing after their boat sank near Mingulay in the Western Isles. A 4th man was rescued and taken to hospital in Stornoway. Shona MacDonald reports from South Uist.
Just before 3:45 this morning, the UK Coast Guard received a distress call from near Mingulay, an island south of Barra in the Western Isles. Stornoway Search and Rescue helicopter and the Barra RNLI lifeboat attended. A fishing boat named locally as the Stornoway registered Louisa had sunk. 1 person was rescued and taken to hospital in Stornoway by the Coast Guard helicopter. 2 bodies were also recovered. As part of its operations, the Barra RNLI lifeboat was here in Lochboysdale earlier today. It then returned to Castlebay where it refuelled and went back to the search area. I understand there were also a number of locally based fishing boats in the area.
The schools partnership, who manage the 17 schools closed by Edinburgh City Council due to safety concerns, claim tonight the standard of construction carried out by the building contractor is completely unacceptable. It's emerged that wall ties were missing in some sections of 2 primary schools. Aileen Clark reports.
Back in January, the damage caused by Storm Gertrude to Oxgangs Primary in Edinburgh prompted a safety review. Cavity wall issues were found here and in 3 other schools and were under repair. But yesterday, with the wall repaired here, another different construction problem was found. The council has decided to close all the 17 schools built under the same public-private partnership initiative as a precaution until they can be sure they're safe.
It's an additional issue that's been identified in the construction fabric of the building at Oxgangs and St Peter's, and we've not been able to get an assurance from Edinburgh Schools Partnership that that doesn't apply to all of the other schools. So I simply cannot take the risk, as both council leader and a parent, to open these schools without that guarantee from Edinburgh Schools Partnership.
The Edinburgh Schools Partnership, which manages the schools, said today they were working with those responsible for the design and build to determine the scale of the problem. The construction company Miller, which was involved in all these 17 school builds, is now owned by Galliford Try, who've pledged to remedy any issue. But it's a worrying time for parents concerned about such disruption happening so close to exam time, as well as the difficulty of arranging childcare, potentially for all of next week.
We are surprised about the timing of it right at the end of these building inspections, and it would really help if the council could tell parents what it was they discovered at Oxgangs that has prompted this response. But of course, on a safety ground, we support them, provided they can put the arrangements in place for the children who really need them.
After the structural problem was found here yesterday, all 17 schools are being surveyed this weekend. But tonight, the situation remains that all of these schools will be shut on Monday, and the council have no idea when they'll reopen. Aileen Clark, reporting Scotland, Edinburgh.
Politicians' transparency on tax dominated the debate on the Holyrood election trail as Labour's UK leader Jeremy Corbyn entered the fray for the first time. Here's our political correspondent, Andrew Kerr.
An old-fashioned town hall meeting for the UK Labour leader, but calls for a new level of openness on politicians' tax affairs. The Scottish leader, Kezia Dugdale, published her tax return today and called for other leaders to do the same. It comes as the Prime Minister promised to publish his past tax returns after being criticised for investing in an offshore fund.
Above all, it's not about an individual, it's not about one person, it's not about one family, it's about a whole ethos where the very rich are able to put their money into tax havens, to offshore accounts, where there is often a 0 rate of income tax.
The SNP leader wasn't taking her cue from Labour. She's been critical of David Cameron too, but also says Labour's all at sea on the issue of Trident.
At a time when public finances and public services like our health service and our education system are under so much pressure, it is, in my view, just completely wrong to even contemplate spending £167 billion on weapons of mass destruction.
Back to the Prime Minister's tax issue, the Liberal Democrat leader called for openness as he sealed up a few envelopes.
It's so disappointing that it took him so long to explain his tax affairs. But we still don't have absolute transparency.
Amidst calls for more transparency in tax, the Conservative leader stepped in to defend the Prime Minister. Ruth Davidson was speaking to party members in Edinburgh. She took the chance to chide Labour, whom she hopes to replace in the opposition spot.
Well, the Prime Minister has answered every question that's been put to him. He had some shares before he was Prime Minister. He paid all of his UK taxes on those shares. When he sold those shares, he paid all of his UK taxes again.
Tax has dominated this election. This has been another take on it. Andrew Kerr reporting Scotland.
Football and Celtic went 8 points clear at the top of the Premiership with a win against Motherwell. Elsewhere, Ross County secured their place in the top 6. It's over to Anne now with the weather.
Alistair, thanks very much. A very good evening to you. Quite a variety of weather on offer today. Here's the earlier picture. A band of cloud and rain affecting many parts of the north during the course of the day, fringing parts of the east as well. Elsewhere, a lot of fine and dry weather to be had, 1 or 2 showers, and feeling quite chilly if you did get caught in one of those showers. Here's the picture then for this evening. We hang on to this rain band for the far north, and it does eventually spill further southwards during the course of the night. So quite a dull and damp picture by dawn. Something on the way of drier conditions for western coastal parts, and for parts of the southwest, icy patches could be a risk for the overnight period. As we head into tomorrow then, here is the pressure chart. We can see this weather system still affecting the far north during the course of the day, and this system for parts of the southwest is going to be bringing some very wet and windy conditions. And we do have a yellow Met Office Be Aware warning in force to cater for this wind, and for coastal parts flooding could be a risk too. In between these two weather systems, plenty of fine and dry weather to be had, good spells of sunshine, and an improving picture for us here in Scotland during the course of the day, and drier conditions feeding northwards. So by 4 o'clock we're looking at a fairly decent afternoon. That rain in the north though lingering for a time. That's your forecast.
Thanks, Anne, and that's it from us. Good night.